Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Thursday, January the 11th, 2024. To say that it was an interesting day, I think would be an understatement. The market did react negatively to the latest producer price index after initially putting out a second before an approval buy for the initial jobless claims. Then came PPI. Now, I can show you on the chart, this is where the initial jobless claims got up to 48.37. Then came the PPI, and this was the initial reaction, bringing the market back to 48.02. Then we put in a nice little bounce again, back up to 48.32, and then we decided not a good number. And they drove it all the way back down to 47.72, 73. And then just spent the rest of the day buying it back. Now, regardless of what we want to think, if we take the data and we remove it and just look at it as the data, it does suggest that the Fed's going to remain hawkish and that a March rate cut starting point likely not going to occur. So what happens now? Well, we just kind of continue as we continue. But my point is going to be more towards really what we saw today was nothing more than, yep, the data came out. Yep, we're moving on. Yep, we're still going to trade. What do we got? We're still buying and selling options. We still favor this stock, that stock, and this stock. We still have an expiration tomorrow. We have an expiration today. And that's what takes over, and the market trades accordingly. So in essence, how much value or no value does any economic number have anymore to what the market is actually going to do, or then how we as quote unquote investors, which many people are, right? They're investing maybe for the next 6 months, they're investing for the next 12 months. And so they're going to make decisions based on how these numbers will affect a Fed decision. Well, accordingly, the market basically said, yeah, we had a little negative downturn and it was fast, it was mean, it was nasty. And then flip and just buy it pretty much all back. So the market did end up back above 4,800. Now, my take on all of this is to try to put it into an Elliott wave perspective. So let's just start and try to count this out. Coming in, I had put this as 3 and to put the 4 there. Now, as to what degree I had been leaving it open. And I had discussed the possibility that, okay, with this being, now this I can count as 5 all the way up to that point, which came at 48.38, and that point was reached overnight in the Globex session. Post the number, it got to 37. So it was within a point of maybe reaching the high above 48.41, which was the high previously from the end of December. That's the standing high thus far, that if this is a minor fifth wave up, it needs to break that. Wave 5 should put in a new high, in this case, high above wave 3. That's our expectation. Well, here we are. It just kind of like totally dies out, almost gets there. And I talked this morning in my trade room and also with others regarding that this possibly could still be counted as 5 up. It would not be totally out of the realm of possibilities that minor wave 5 failed to take out that high by 3.5 S&P dollars. Not a big deal. The wave pattern does show I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Or this is even going to get easier for you. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 of 5, minuet wave 1 of 5, minuet wave 2 of 5, and we're heading up. So I'm kind of leaving it as a possibility. It's like 3, and maybe we're doing these bizarre 3s. But I didn't like it. I'm just showing you my process here, by the way. So I go back. Now, what it does, though, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, what it does suggest, right? So this is my process. I move it, and then I go, okay, what do we got? And then I have to do this, which is basically going to show that we have an enormous wave for minute wave 5. And I'm going to, let's just put it in there. There's the 1. Here's the 2. And we're starting up in a third. Now, in this case, if it is this, we're not breaking any rules. We're really not breaking any rules. As I've discussed previously, should it turn into this, and wave 5 is going to be the massively extended wave, well, that could work, because wave 3 is not going to be the shortest wave. Wave 1 is the shortest wave. We got that already got all that worked out. But how big can this third wave then get? So let's with that in mind, let's build out this picture. And I'm going to take a little bit more time today because I think we need to. Because we need to look at, well, what are these possibilities that this crazy market is going to put out for us? The first thing I want to do, re-adding, is I'm going to re-add minor wave 5. So our first line, 0.618, comes in at 48.81. Well, if this is minuet wave 1 of minute wave 5, holy cats, get out of the way. So I look at that and I go like, oh, then I got 49.92, and above that I got 51.71. Could it get up there as a wave 5? That would absolutely dwarf wave 3. So not really going to like that. So I take that off. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to remove this. And what I'm doing, folks, is I'm trying to show you my process so that when you're sitting and you're going like, well, what could it be? Well, you run through what your possibilities are. Now, not that I absolutely fall in love with this one, but I broke this down. I went down to the 15, oops, wrong direction. Let me take that back. I went back and I looked at the 15-minute chart, and you can see in here, I can count this as a 1, 2, 3. So I can put 3, 4, and then I get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5's the extended, 3's not the shortest. Okay, so this high that we had today, let me go back out. Let me go back out to the hourly chart. So this high that we saw today could be minute wave 3. This is best viewed, A, B, C, as wave 4. And there we have wave 4. Now, let's again just build what we need in terms of, all right, so if this is minute wave 4 and we got a minute 5th wave, all right, so we already have, this is the minor 5th wave that we got going on, okay? We already know we have 48.81, and then we have 49.92. 49.92 is equality. That's the number 1. It's the most popular on the list. Why? Because it just is. when comparing wave 5 to wave 1 on a Fibonacci basis, equality is the most frequently seen measurement. And we're going to do the same thing here, and we're going to do it for this one to this 5. And so we're going to go again there, and then we're going to bring it over to here. Well, we got 1.618 at 48.66. And that actually puts us at a new high, gets below all this. So it's like, I don't know. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Yes, these can be, that's no longer resistance. And neither is this actually, because we already, it's not been exceeded, but it should be. So here's what I'm going to do. Because it doesn't go to a new high, and that's what I'm actually looking for there, at least above that 48.38. So now I got these two. So I got 1.618, and where's that 2.618? Okay, 49.24. Okay, so that gets me above there, gets me in between these. Now, 1.618 does put in the new high, could if I get 5. Now, let's take a peek back again. I'm looking for a small wave 2 and then a wave 3. Possibly, look at the size of wave 1. And this all happened today, folks. Not like we had to go wait for very long. This high is 48.21. I'm going to round it up a quarter. And this low is 47.72. We'll round it up that same quarter. So 21, 48.21, that's 21 plus 17. 38 points. 38 points for wave 1. Wow. Even if we're going to, that wave 3 is going to be the longest, first of all, I'm going to change this out, and I'm going to put in, well, what can we look at in terms of retracement? Coming back down, we're looking for just a small wave 2. Well, the most common is 50 to 62%. So that's going to take us 47.97 to 47.91. But actually, these can come into play. We've already seen it right there in that one, 382. But then 236, and then we have 382 at 48.02. That makes sense. That level puts us back around that 4,800 level, which just mentally and psychologically, I guess you could say, gives us that line. What else do we have there? I got the 8, kind of like resting and going flat right at that area. So if we kind of come back down, the market may adjust, but it likely won't begin to really start to go lower until we break it. And there you have it. So it doesn't really help, does it? There you go. So we have the 20 above, which we tried to get above and we did. We tried to get above and we did. And we tried maybe. But there's the 8. You see how the 8 kind of goes and then starts to go flat because the market's holding here. And that's what we look for it to do. If the 8 gets back up and goes above that, then I'm going to say that this could have completed it or where we're looking for. If it continues to provide support right around here, 48.02, we come down, we hit it, and we start to rally again. So if that's being the case, then what can we really expect then from a third wave? Well, one measurement that I've usually tried to put in, and again, these are just extensions. They're kind of guesstimates, for the lack of a better word that I can come up with right now. So we're going to, again, run fibs. And let's just say it comes down to 48.02. We'll plug it right there. Well, now we have where it's 100% at 48.50. But I'm always going to look for more. And now we're above all of it. Now we're above this. And now we're coming in up here. So again, so you begin to see what possibly could take us above 48.66. It's just presenting itself as a resistance. Could it hold and finish this wave? My first answer is possibly, but not. I think realistically, we're going to go past it. If indeed a third wave comes and forms and does what we normally would expect, we're going to be looking for to exceed that level and get itself up here. Definitely exceed the 100% level, where wave 3 is equal to wave 1. Yeah, it works, but I'm going to look for more. So maybe it comes up to here, we get a 4 and then a 5, and maybe the 5 gets up to there. But I don't think this one, I think it'll come into play, but just to kind of play around and then exceed. So we start to build what our possibilities are for additional upside and how high can the market get. I want to not draw it, I want to take it away. Right, because we don't actually have that low end yet, so I'm not going to leave that up there. So what we have is 48.66, 48.81, 49.24, and then that higher number, 49.92. So these levels, this one and this one, go along with this minute fifth wave. Now, guess what we also get tomorrow? Not only is it a weekly expiration, it's after the PPI number is going to come out. Now, expectations, let me just double check, because they usually kind of tells us what the median forecast is going to be. We're looking for the PPI to increase by 0.1%. We're looking for the core to increase by 0.1%. Core PPI year over year, still probably coming in at 2.5%. So today's CPI came in higher than that expectation. So the actual number came in higher. If PPI, producer prices, also go up higher, then I'm going to think that we might get the same type of a reaction. If that's going to occur, how does that affect what we got going on? Well, a couple of ways. Again, going back to this hourly chart. Remember, I already discussed the failure. Now, these are all alternates. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're just so indecisive. Not really. What are you determining from the market? That would be my first question to you. I'm giving you every scenario that I can come up with at what this market could do. But you're expecting me and Elliott to be very precise. I think that's a load of junk, to be honest with you. I'm now showing you these are the possibilities of what the market may or may not do. Can you tell me definitively what and how the market's going to react to what the PPI numbers are going to be? Of course not. So again, we have that possibility that the whole thing, the minor wave 5, ended up right there, and it ended in a very small failure. So a $3-4 failure. No big deal. And if that's the case, what's this? I know it counts as 3. Maybe it's 1, 2, and whatever happens, we nosedive. It'll be interesting to see how the market reopens here in about an hour and 15 minutes. It'll be interesting to see what overnight they do in preparation. Now, because the thing is what we saw here is that the market, that it did that in Globex. So we'll see. But in any case, I feel that I need to just let you know. And hold on one second. I just got an interruption. In any case, we need to wait. The market's going to tell us. My own personal feeling is that the PPI should come out not any better than the CPI. So if it comes out showing the small thing and they decide that that's okay, they may just rally it anyway. Also, before the opening tomorrow, we get to hear from JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, I believe, as well. Let me just double check. Citigroup, JP Morgan, and let me see if Goldman Sachs. No, Goldman Sachs is next week. I think Wells Fargo also gives us our report tomorrow, and I know Bank of America, they're all in there, but we at least hear from Citi and JP Morgan before the opening. Now, if they decide Yahoo, Mountain Dew, we love these earnings, that's going to be supportive of the Dow and also the financial sector, the banking sector. So again, we got a lot being pushed into here. We saw them first buy up NVIDIA, sell off NVIDIA, buy NVIDIA back. We saw that they bought Apple, they sold Apple, they bought Apple back. They did the same thing in Meta. They did the same thing, except today, guess whose turn it was today for God knows what reason, other than, oh, Netflix, they got all of these subscribers to go watch commercials on their stream. And everybody just loves that idea. And so they pushed the stock up over 500 this morning. Not that I think that that's a bad thing or a good thing, but I'm like, okay, what effect? It had a pretty big effect on the market because it contributes a bigger portion to a rally. Again, NVIDIA, beautiful rally. What didn't the market like? The market didn't like Tesla today. So we have this push and pull going on. And how's that all going to unfold? This is how I'm telling you. I'm giving you three scenarios. One, that the market holds and does not go down and create a new low, that the number is accepted and it'll be all taken care of within a small wave two. And that, again, we have support, 48.11, 48.02, 47.97, 47.90, 43.83, and actually all the way back down here at 47.72. Just can't go below there because then it's busting what I'm labeling as wave one. Otherwise, what else could it be? A, B, C, and a 4 or whatever gets labeled down here. Now, don't forget again, in all honesty, this is not cast in stone. No, this could be the completion. I'll wait, and we'll figure that out after tomorrow. Now, unfortunately, tomorrow's Friday. So you got another thing going on because next Monday is a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Day. So you're going to get a lot of positions going towards the end of the day, and a lot going to be coming off on this expiration. So a lot of positions are going to be, you're going to see a lot of things, just wherever it's going to end up, they're going to pin it because there's going to be the big boys. It's like, we're not taking this over the weekend, we're out. And a lot of stuff will settle tomorrow. And what will happen over the weekend is going to happen over the weekend. And we'll come back basically and see what transpires on Tuesday. So I do expect a lot of movement. And I think it could be just as confusing as today. I mean, there were times it's like, okay, what do you guys really want to do? What do you really think about that number? And so you got to take it almost bar by bar, folks, and really just play it close to the heart and keep tabs on your risk. Particularly, it's like if you're trading the futures market and you're just trading just the futures long or short, just risk will creep up and blow up in your face before you know it. And also if you're trading options and you're trading 0 DTE options, those gamma flows will blow up in your face before you can say, huh? So please just be very aware and keep tabs on being able to be very flexible and move very quickly. So S&P, not sure. We got to see what that number is going to do, but the way the count is being a little bit down, and then we rally again. And with this time, if the next rally, I would think we're going to get above 48.38, 48.41, and likely above 48.66. We just start going again to new all-time highs. And then that's our resistance, our resistance, our resistance. Again, once a wave two or whatever we're going to call this gets put into place, we can add another layer. Okay, over in the NASDAQ. What a beast. What a beast ye old NASDAQ is. Now, similar to what I've done over in the S&P, I've kind of shown where minuet wave 3 over in the S&P, I'm calling it minute wave 3, but it's the same deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, minute 3. Here's minute 1, here's minute 2, here's minute 3, here's minute 4. Excuse me, minuet 4. I'll get my numbers right, or my degrees right. And what do we got again? We're this beautiful rally. This rally. This is the low, 16,753. There's the high, 16,983. 230 points. Zippity doo dah. 1, 2, 3 hours. Took about 3 to get us down there and 3 to get us back. Not necessarily from where we started, because we actually, I to tell you the truth, I think we were actually right about there. Number came out, they flushed it, and then they flushed the toilet, ran it back up, and then just flushed it all the way back down. It was pretty incredible. And then just bought it. So same type of account. Do I dare put a sub minuet wave 1 here? I probably could. Let's just take a peek. If I bring it down, let's look at a minute chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we could. And then AB, and we're not looking for that much more. So again, I'm just going to use a 15-minute chart, and let's just go fill in some of the blanks so we get an idea of what really is going on. And I'm going to put it over here, and I'm just going to fill that in. So again, you guys get to witness my process. And now you can see I do it all by hand as well. There's 1. Now we can just 2. And I'm going to add a drawing, and I'm going to put in some fibs for wave 2. Right now we've got down to 2.236, exactly like the S&P did. S&P also got to 236, but we'd be looking for maybe some a little bit more. A nice little 5 waves down. It doesn't have to be big, but 5 waves down. Let's see if we can't get to 16,907, which is where the 20 and the 200 moving average, simple moving averages are kind of hanging out together. The other one's hiding. There it is. Let's see, 16,909. So we got 907, 909. We've got some wonderful support, plus fib support at 896. A nice little boom. That would be nice. We'll label it wave 2, and then we go again. Okay, I'm bringing this back out. Let's take a look back at that hourly chart. Go like that so we can see all inside of it. What happens now when we start to go? Look at how close we were again to 17,000. This is like post number. That's like crazy run up in the open. Why? Because they were buying NVIDIA. They were buying, what they were buying? They were buying in mass, and then suddenly went, no, we're done. Bang, bang, bang. It was pretty incredible. Lots and lots and lots of opportunity. And if you weren't doing it right, you could have lost a bundle. And I did a good example of how not to play the market. And so, but, you recover and you keep going. In any case, 3, 4, 1, 2, looking for a third. Now, here's our fibs for a minuet wave 5. 17,146 doesn't really cut it, because we're looking for 165. 17,165 is that previous high for the top of wave, minute wave 3. So here we have 2.618, 17,389. Now, if I open this back up again and we take a look at that whole chart, can I still talk about that this could be the completion point? Well, it gets lesser because we're now just so back so close to being back up there at 17,000. What is this, 17,165? Well, that's just a sneeze for the NASDAQ. So I think leaving it here is more prudent unless we absolutely turn from here and we nosedive. And this time we don't look back. We don't say, you know what, stop. I think we're still okay because look, we still got to buy all these stocks or whatever the situation might be. So again, much is going to depend on what the PPI does. Same deal. Tomorrow is an expiration. I imagine there's a lot of positions. In fact, I was going over a lot of that stuff, like where Microsoft might go, where NVIDIA thinks it's going to want to close. And you can just go and you look at where the greatest open interest is, and then what the volatility is going to be telling you, and you'll realize possibilities. So, where Apple's going to try to close out. And then you'll start to see where they will start to put those markets. Back to the NASDAQ. I'm going to leave it as a 3 and a 4, and this is a wave 1. We're looking for a small 2. We start to rally. We start to rally in a third. I believe it takes us above 17,146. I think it takes us above 17,165, and we start heading to 17,200. Now, where I can look left and I don't see that I have any resistance on a price basis. We are in uncharted territory, so we have to rely on the fibs. Once I get a wave 2 in there, I can throw up a wave 3, small, but still fill in some of these blanks inside here. Because if it is that we're in a minuet wave 5, of minute wave 5, of minor wave 5, well, it's a lot of stair stepping to get ourselves back up there. Right? We've done it so far all the way up. We'll have to continue it one more time. So we get minute wave 5, minuet wave 5, and we get a 1, 2, we get a 3, and then we get another pullback in a 4, sub-minuet, and then we get a 5, for a 5, for a 5, for a 5, all the way up. And where do I think that can get there? I think somewhere up in here. Possibly, minute wave 5 would equal minute wave 1 at 17,606. I think that's pretty high. But stranger things have happened. So I think, yeah, at least we're going to get above 7,165. If it doesn't, and this all finishes here, and we just absolutely knock it out of the park, but in the other direction, then it could go back. It could go back to, okay, that's primary B, and that's 1, minor wave 1, minor wave 2, and we are dropping like a stone. But that's the ticket, okay? If that should occur, what we saw today, that would be how a good kickoff would be, but it doesn't stop to rally back, 62% of what it just dropped. It doesn't stop to do that. It goes much further before it rallies. So there has to be more energy, more catalyst for it to drop than just the PPI, which people tend to forget in about 10 minutes. And then go back, oh yeah, okay, well, I'm long this, and let's go. I got to go. And off they go to the races. Okay. So that is the picture for right now. Again, tomorrow we have PPI, and that's about it. And then we have the Minneapolis Fed president out talking at 10 a.m. But they've been out talking. We had them today. They're out talking, and they're just regurgitating. Oh, yes, we need to really keep an eye on this and inflation, blah, 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 blah. So again, I would not expect to really get any additional information from the Fed, who likely already knew what these numbers were going to be. So, holiday, Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Markets are closed. Globex will start again on Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Cannot guarantee that I'm going to get a big picture update out over this weekend. I've got quite a few things going on in my personal life. So, but it would be my goal then to at least make an Elliott wave update covering the S&P and the NASDAQ on Monday. Hope everybody has a really great weekend. First of all, have a really good trading day tomorrow. Again, urge caution, trade smart, use stops, manage your risk, and have fun. That's the best I can do, is just try to have fun. And I will be back on Monday.